Annette Green back again. It's week 7 of 2024, and each week I am sharing a crafty project video, and today is going to be about making some fun paper clips. Some are hidden paper clips, some are just fancy, and I want to show you 5 different ways. And what prompted me to do so was I pulled out my junk journal that I made, gosh, over a year ago now, and I haven't really done a lot with it. I've started to put in some clusters and things, but it's just really pretty sitting here waiting for me to add more to it. So I thought, what a perfect opportunity to make some of those fun clips. Now, you may or may not have seen for many years now these hidden paper clip ideas, fancy paper clips. They have been on YouTube quite a while, many different styles and suggested ways to make them. So I've been pouring through all these different techniques and videos and try to come up with my own spin on those particular techniques. So that's what today's video is about. I'm going to show you 5 different clips. I'm going to show you these 5, but we're going to do them maybe with a little different paper, a little different stamping, and then we will add them to my junk journal. Okay, and so just so you have an idea of how pretty this can look, is you just clip these right onto your page. It just dresses them up and makes them really pretty. You can tuck things underneath. You can make them pretty on both sides. Some of these attach from the side, so you can attach things that way and have little charms dangling off of them. It's just super fun. This one's a giant paper clip that you can add to the page just to make it pretty. So we're going to move from the simplest style to a little bit more involved. And from the videos that I saw, the one thing that I did pick up on and wanted to make a change that I didn't see anybody really doing was I saw a lot of people, when they were going to put their clips on, they were struggling to get them started on the page. They'd even pause the video and restart it once they got it on the page. And I thought, well, why is that so hard? And I think it was because they had the back and the front the same height. So I have made the back end a little shorter, just like a paper clip would be, right? The front of the paper clip is longer, the back is shorter. So that way you can kind of press on the page and then slide it right on, and it's super easy. So this is the order we're going to do them in. So I'm going to slide these guys out of the way, and this very first one has just a regular size paper clip under there. It is actually inside. So I've picked a couple of different papers, and I'm going to give you the measures for everything here. I've got some beads and I've got some twine over there, and I actually have a rub-on, a couple of rub-ons. So you want to begin with a piece of cardstock that measures 1 1/4 inches by 5 inches, and you want to fold this in half. Now see, mine is a craft core, so the underside of mine is going to be that craft color. That does not matter too much. And to get that shorter backing, you want to grab your trimmer. And it doesn't matter which end, just pick one end and cut off 1/4 inch. Okay, we're going to discard that little 1/4 inch piece, and now we have that little short flap like I was talking about earlier. For a decorative piece of paper, this one is going to be a little tiny bit shorter. So it's, what did we say this one was? This was 1 1/4. So this one is going to be 1 1/8. And then this measure is going to be a little bit longer than setting in that 1/8 of an inch. So this is going to measure almost 5 inches like the piece before, but it's going to be 4 15/16. So just 1/16 shorter than the 5. That's not hard. You can just look at the ruler. Folding it in half, again, I'm going to pick one end and I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and the idea here is, I think you might realize it, is we're going to fold this over around to the back, just like that. And we'll see this little bit of craft core there, but we'll be okay about that. Just to make it look kind of finished and pretty, I've got my little 3-way corner rounder. I'm using the smallest rounded corner. I'm going to go around all 4. This style also, I think, is the first one where I have actually seen cardstock being the outer border. Usually people are papering over top of cardstock with none of it showing. I just wanted to see how that would look, so this will be a little different. And so now this is ready to go like this. And one more thing that we want to do is any kind of like rub-ons or stickers or anything like that, or stamping, you'd want to do that first. So this is a 49 in Market rub-on. I don't know from what set. And I have the word peaceful over here. I want to see if that's going to stretch across. It's just going to make it across. So let's do the flowers right down the middle. Okay, I rubbed that. And now we will rub on the word peaceful across the bottom. Okay, we're just going to keep this one simple. I'm going to ink around the edges. And across the top there. Same thing with this. Okay, and this is the one that is completely a hidden paper clip. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pretty piece of paper. No, we're going to take this guy with the long flap in the front and that in the back, and we're going to put the long part of the paper clip in the front, which means the shorter part is in the back, of course. We're going to get that all the way down, tight to the top, okay? And then we're going to glue this right over the top of that. Okay, you're going to see some glue on my project here because I just put it together without putting the twine on here. You want to get a nice long piece of twine underneath your cardstock piece like this, and then put your paper clip with the long flap in the front and the long part of the paper clip in the front. Okay, this will hold that twine in place. And now we will take our pretty paper and we will add more glue. And I'm using 3-in-1 adhesive by Beacon, just because I don't know if this is important as far as what adhesive, but I just know that this will hold and it'll cover that metal paper clip nicely. Okay, so now we will take our pretty paper and put it right around the cardstock piece. So we have this in the back. Really squeeze it, press it down. You barely see that paper clip, the lump of the paper clip under there. So that's looking pretty nice. And I mean, that's really kind of all that there is to this one. We can add some fun beads like we did here. So I'll do that really quick. I'm just going to tie a loose double, what do you call it? Square knot. Not a double knot. A square knot, but loose. See how I have a loose kind of gap here? I'm not pulling it all the way down to the paper. Okay, so we have a knot there to hold our beads from shifting around. Okay, and I went ahead and put a couple more beads on there, and I tied little knots on the ends of my twine, and that one is very cute, very different. This one is a little more vintage and romantic looking, but you could play around with, of course, different stickers or paper or rub-ons or whatever you have. So that first one is done. Very simple. Okay, our second one, we're going to add an eyelet, so we have to do things a little bit differently here. It's got the same short and long piece thing going here and some just plain pattern paper and cardstock. So this one is easy as well. So you will start off with a bigger piece of your cardstock, whatever, and this is a great way to use up little scraps, and your image does need to be sort of a small print on this one. So this measures 5.5 long by 1 inch wide, and this is also 1 inch by 4.5. So this one's just a little bit different in the way that we're going to do it. You're still going to fold it in half, and you're still going to cut off the 1/4 inch just from one side. Thing here, and then you'll need 2 different sizes of paper, decorative paper, 7/8 of an inch wide by 2 1/4, and this is also 7/8 by 2 inches. We're going to grab our little rounder, and you can do just the bottom 2, you can do all 4. I think I'll do the bottom 2 only on this one. Same here. I did round all 4 on this one as far as the green cardstock goes, but I think I'll do this one. Just square it at the top and round it at the bottom. Okay, and of course you want to get this guy too. You want to ink your edges before you get everything put together, just like before. All right, now for this one, I'm going to use my art glitter glue because right now I'm just gluing paper to paper. And I'm taking that larger piece of pattern paper first. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to get that down with equal sides of that purple cardstock showing. Okay, and of course we want to flip this to do the other one. Okay. And then we've got this one that goes inside. Now we don't want to tuck it up in there because we want to make room for that eyelet. We're going to go ahead and put our paper clip on this one. So again, the long part of the paper clip on the long flap in the middle, all the way down. So it looks like this. And then we're going to go back to the 3-in-1 and we're going to glue that inside just a little bit differently. This time we're going to adhere this inside, but we're going to butt everything to the bottom. So the glue still goes all fully on here. And I'm going to do one side at a time just so I don't have to manage a bunch of glue on both sides. So I'm just gluing that so it lines up with the big piece in front. Just give that a second, and then we will put adhesive here. Now you see I'm just stopping where this flap stops. I know that they're the same color now, it's hard to see that. And I'll just put a little glue here, just a tiny bit on the sides, because the eyelet's getting ready to go in there and I don't want to gunk up my crocodile, get a bunch of glue in that punch. So, all right, I'll press that down, give that a second to really set and dry, and then we'll put an eyelet in there. Okay, nice and dry. So now we're going to flip it around so we can see what we're doing. We're going to use the small hole of our crocodile eyelet setter. We're going to punch right in the middle there and then pop an eyelet and set it. Just like that. Okay, and then I grabbed this really pretty, I don't have any purple kind of ribbon. I have this really pretty sheer kind of olivey green color. I could run that through my iron, but I think I'll just go for it. And it is sometimes hard to get, especially wider ribbon like this, through an eyelet. So what I like to do is I come in from the back side. I have my tweezers ready, and I'm going to give this eyelet a little bit of a hammer because it didn't flatten all the way out. Okay, and now I can kind of get my ribbon started, push it through, and then grab a hold. And then I want to do the other tail through the same hole. Okay, finally. Just have to be patient. Okay, so now I've got my loop in the back and my two tails in the front, and I can tuck it through that loop and give it a pull. Okay, and I'll trim those off, but basically that's it. That one's very simple, very pretty. The third style looks like this. It's kind of like a big ticket. Has paper on the back as well. This has some craft cardstock as the base, but there's the paper clip kind of poking through the top. You can kind of see it, so it's not so much an invisible paper clip. So what we need here is some sort of base. It can be cardstock or decorative paper. This measures 1 5/8 inches wide by 5.5. And then I'm going to use some pink, pale pink cardstock. that measures just a little smaller. So 1 9/16. It's just 1/16 shorter. And also 1/16 shorter this way. So 1 7/16 this way, 1 9/16 this way. So it's just a teeny tiny bit smaller. Okay, same as before, fold it in half. Give it a little burnish before you do the trimming. And then I'm going to take off that 1/4 inch. And same with the pink. Now I noticed that this is a two-tone pink, so I just need to decide which color. I think I want the lighter, so I just have to remember that. If that's showing, it has to go this way. Yeah. Okay, so fold it in half. Oop, burnish. Cut off 1/4. Okay. Don't get too much further with this one. We want to do a little bit of stamping this time. So I've already die cut these 2 pieces of paper. These are just from the Petal Pink collection, as this is as well, from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And I have die cut them with my layered labels die from Elizabeth Craft Designs as well. And I will link everything below, of course. So I cut the larger shape of this ticket out of this like pretty green paper, and then the smaller inset of that same ticket from the die from this lighter paper. So we have a nice kind of neutral background for stamping. I'm not going to ink those yet because we're going to round the corners. Just to make this one look a little bit different this time, I grabbed, rather than the honeycomb stamp like I used here, just so we do something a little different. The honeycomb was from my honeybee stamp set, but I grabbed the happy stamp set and I grabbed the definition of the word happy, and that's what's on the block here. And I'm just going to stamp that very lightly in the background. This is a pebble color from Ranger. It's archival. Doesn't matter if it's archival or not today. And I'm just going to stamp it in the back. I have to pull it down in front of me a little bit, sorry. And then I'm going to have to step and repeat to get that last bit at the bottom. And it's a little light, but that's okay. Maybe we'll do another little image stamp down there. Okay, now I want to grab my bee. I have my bee here, and I have happiness, and I want to grab that fern, that same fern stamp set, which is also from Happy. I'm not even going to put it on a block. I'm just going to grab a hold of it, and I'm going to do, right now we're going to cover up that little boo-boo down here. Okay, and then we'll ink that up a little more for up here. Okay, beautiful. So that was just peeled paint, archival. Now I'm going to grab VersaFine Claire in the Rainforest color, because it kind of matches this green here. And believe it or not, that's the color I'm going to stamp my bee, which I will put right here. Pretty. It was black here because we had a black outline, but I like the green on green tone. And then we just need to pick a color for the word happiness going up the side here. And I think I'm just going to go with black. There's enough dark color in this that will look just fine. And of course the word happiness is from the Happy stamp set as well. I got to lean way over this to make sure I get it on here straight. Normally I would do this on my stamping platform, but I did okay. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to grab, I have my We Are Memory Keepers. What is this one called? Crocodile Corner Chomper. It's the stub and scallop option, and I'm going to use the stub just to kind of try to match that. It's not a perfect match, but it's going to work out just fine. So I'm going to stub. I'm going to stamp, punch. I'm going to punch the stub corners. Okay, so that's what we have there. We'll do the same with our base piece. And yes, we do the top with it closed. And you saw me open it out to do the bottom where it's shorter here. Okay, now we can ink the edges of this one. Okay, got those two pieces ready. This is the one that's going to go underneath here. So this is where the paper clip is going to go, and this is going to be a large paper clip this time. So we're going to put that on there. Again, large on the large flap, shorter on the shorter flap. And then before we can put this in here, we have to make a slit here where that's going to land. So we're going to just kind of put this in the middle, straighten it out, just to figure out where it's going to come through. And I'm going to make a little pencil mark just on each side of the paper clip head on this piece. And then I'm going to cut from pencil mark to pencil mark. I'm going to check it really quick just to make sure. I took the paper clip off just now just to kind of see, does it fit? Is it coming through? Can we see it? Okay, perfect. So now we're good. We can put this back on here. And we do want it to stick out just a little tiny bit so that we can push it through that slot. So we'll start with it kind of hanging out like that. At this point you do want to have your twine ready to go, just a long piece that you're going to tie to the top of this when it's sticking out, and then we're going to push it back in. So we will get our 3-in-1 going just like before. This time I'm going to try to not get it all over the paper clip. So maybe inside a little bit, and then definitely all around these edges so it's sealed really well. Because like I said, we want that paper clip to kind of slide and tuck back in a little. Alright, I'm just going to do one side at a time and get that paper clip to poke through. And I'll take a peek on the inside and make sure everything's straight. We're not worried about that short one just now, just that long one. Okay, that's good. Okay, and then we can get in there and get that 3-in-1, and on this side real quick. And then press this one down. And then get that twine in there real quick so that we can push that paper clip kind of down a little bit so it's almost invisible, and catch those loops, that loop real quick. Okay, I just want to get that before it dries. Push it down, press, press, press. Looks good. If you get a little glue on there, just use your little eraser to pick that up. And we don't care about this. We're not going to see this when it's clipped to the book. That's just fine. And you can decorate both sides. I put a little decorative paper on the back of there. Because this is a striped paper, I might leave this side as is. But at this point, since our glue is setting really well, we can go ahead and get this on here now. I'll switch back to the 3-in-1. You could add beads to the top of this one as well. You could have used maybe a little fluffy ribbon. It's a little easier to get through the paper clip head than the eyelet hole, so you could use more fluffy ribbon if you like, but I like that. And I might tie that into a bow instead of just letting the tails hang on this one, and you can always put a dot of glue on the knot of your bow if you're worried that it may come undone later. That's what I'll do. A little fray check or clear liquid glue. Okay, really cute. I like that one. It's right up my alley, very nature-like. So there is that one. So how many have we done? We've done 3. We have 2 more to go. All right, our 4th style is this big paper clip. This is kind of fun. This paper clip measures 3.5 inches by, at the widest point, it's about 3/4 of an inch. I got these on Amazon quite a few years ago, so you might find something close. I don't know anymore. But you can see that we're just going to wrap some paper around it, and you'll see that shorter part of the paper clip on the back side. When it's on the page, you won't see it at all. And then you have this pretty decoration on the front, and we set some eyelets here and add some ribbon. So this could not be simpler. I start with a piece of paper that measures 2 1/8 by 2 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and we are going to fold this way. So what I like to do, I've already kind of measured it out and I already know. Okay, so you will soft score 5/8 on each side, fold it in gently, not a really hard fold, and then we are going to just check it because the big part of the paper clip is going to go inside, and then the smaller, shorter end is going to go on the outside back like that. So just check your fit first, and if it fits just fine, then you want to get your glue on here. Doesn't matter what kind of glue. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I just want to make sure this edge in particular gets glued down in the right spot. So I went a little bit beyond with that first passive glue, but it's more important to get that edge there. Okay, beautiful. So now you'll put your clip in there. It's a tight fit, but it works. We got the short part on the outside here. Okay, at this point you could ink your edges. So let me take that out real quick. Ink your edge, both sides. Okay, put your clip back in there with the big inside, small on the back. Okay, get too far. I am going to get this sticker on here. Now if you were doing a rub-on, I would say do it first. Even if you're doing a sticker, this is a clear sticker. It's like a washi sticker, which is really hard to get started, but you will have to trim some of this off because it is a little wider. It depends on your sticker, of course, but mine is a little wider, and so I know I'm going to have to trim some off, so I definitely want to do all of that before I get too far. Okay, and my sticker is like a, you saw it's like a clear vellum kind of sticker, not vellum, like an acetate, but very thin. So it's not going to wrap around and stay wrapped around. It's just not that sticky. That's why I'm going to trim it off. Okay, so I definitely want to burnish it down though, so it doesn't come up. And then we'll get our clip back in there. This is really pretty on that matte paper. Okay, and then crocodile again, and you see there's a hole in the top and the bottom here, and that just really kind of keeps it from sliding right off your paper clip. You're going to set an eyelet in here on the top, center, and optional, you can do one at the bottom. And then I just have some coordinating eyelets. These are pewter, even though my paper clip is a shiny silver. It's just the closest thing I had, and it's totally fine. So we'll set one at the top and the bottom. And then you can do what you want here. So I grabbed some beautiful green, kind of olivey colored ribbon. I can pull that through just like I did at the pink one here. You got all this extra. And then you can take some twine. This is that same wax twine, and cut a couple pieces of that. One a little bit longer. This one you can tie it into a bow if you want to, like I did over here. That kind of keeps it from slipping off. And you notice I'm doing it upside down. Something about that makes the bow come out right and doesn't fight me. Okay, so I'll tighten that down, trim that up, put a little twine down here in the bottom, and we'll be done with this one. Okay, and that one is done. This one here, I had several pieces of that pink ribbon because it was less wide than this one. This one had a single piece of ribbon, but definitely very, very pretty, right? Okay, we've got one more to go. All right, our final one is the one that I will call the sideways one because it slides onto the page sideways like this. Super duper easy as well. So your piece of paper, your base, whether it be cardstock or paper, should measure 1 5/8 by 4 3/4. And then I went to my postage stamp dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I used the smallest postage stamp and then the piece that is the next size down that sits inside. I didn't use the smallest one, but just the frame and that inside piece. Okay, so I cut that out of that nice green paper, and then this is just some more of a neutral kind of piece from Petal Pink, as is this one. Gonna get those edges inked and ready. This one is a little bit different in that we don't do the shorter fold on the back thing because this is coming in from the side, so it's a little different. We're just going to fold this right in half and ink the edge. We're going to get the paper clip in there and then glue that together completely this time. Okay, and one thing I want to do before I get too far is I want to do just a little tiny bit of stamping on this one because the background is fairly plain. So now I will go back to the honeycomb die and that same pebble, very pale tan colored ink, and hopefully I'll get this straight. Let's see. Okay, nice little background, very faint, that's just what we want. And I have a mushroom sticker, one of those acetate kind of stickers, just like before, which I thought would be perfect. Of course, there's rub-ons and all kinds of things, but I've had these stickers forever. I buy a bunch of them on Etsy, and I have had them quite a long time. Unfortunately, they are kind of tricky to get started. I had to use my piercer. Okay, I'm just going to center this sticker right in the middle and trim off the excess again. Again, I love projects like this because you do use up your things that you've collected over the years and just aren't using. So this would get adhered, of course, into the middle of our postage frame. I like this color combo. It's very earthy. It's very me. Okay, and then that will go there. So we might as well get that on there now. No reason why we can't. And you see I'm putting it kind of down toward the bottom a little bit, leaving a little more space up there. Okay, and then we take our paper clip. Let's get this out of the way. You see I have some beads over here and some charms. I may or may not add those, but for now I want to show you how this goes together. So you do see quite a lot of the paper clip this time. It's sticking out completely out the top. So you're just going to take that bar right there and slide it inside just like that. And that's really it. So you'll get in there with some glue now. And this is where I'll go back to the 3-in-1 because I am using a metal paper clip. Get some glue up in there so that doesn't shift around or try to slide out. Get it right on that paper clip. Okay. You can slide that back in there. Perfect. And then really press that down. Now, it isn't crucial that you get those charms or beads or something on there first, because all you do is weave them right onto the paper clip up here. You can do a jump ring if you want. I find that it works just great without a jump ring. So I have that little leaf, and I've got this tiny little acorn. I don't know if I'll do any beads. I think I like these two elements just by themselves. There we go. Cute, right? So yeah, I'm not going to use those beads. I think that's cute just like that. Okay, I'm going to grab my junk journal and all my cute little clips. Where is she? Okay. And we'll just start clipping them in here. I mean, it really doesn't matter where they go. Let's find a pretty page. So this would be pretty on here. I still have to trim my little tails of my ribbon. Oh, I'm hitting that back there. Okay, I was going to say. See, this one is nice because it does hang off the page a little bit. Some of these other ones you'll see they're flush with the page. You could actually clip one down here inside of a page. Let's find another. We'll put this one here. And you can move this over, of course. I want to get these all in here. So while I'm doing that, I will thank you for joining me. I hope you liked the fun little paperclip project. I had a lot of fun doing it. And if you're new, I welcome you to my channel. Thank you for joining me. And if you're returning, of course, thank you very much. I appreciate you very much. So next week, I don't know what I'll do. Oh, I know what I want to do. I will tell you, I'll give you a little heads up right now. I have my new collection. I have designed a new collection of stamps, dies, papers, and papers, that's the key because, oops, this one goes on this way, doesn't it? Oh, I just love that. Just love it. Yeah, it's right behind me. I can't show it yet. I'm dying to show you. And I've already started to make some things, but I can't show you yet. Not till the end of March, unfortunately. But it's coming. All right, beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week with the next crafty project. Take care, and thanks again.